got it. Did I get it?
I think you got it.
Did I get it?
I think you got it.
I think we are recording. We're recording now.
We got it.
Yeah, we are recording. We're recording now. Should we clap?
Click clap. We should show clap. Click clap. Clap, 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 clap on a 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're sisters
In law.
We're watching Suits one episode at a time.
It's a show so nice, I've watched it twice.
And a show so great, I'm watching it late.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Maggie's never seen it and Amanda's obsessed. They don't wear fancy suits, they are casually dressed. They are sisters-in-law and they got a show about a law firm drama that aired a few years ago. Only Suits fans, 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 only Suits fans.
The energy that we are bringing to this episode.
The energy we're bringing to this episode is the same energy that Suits is bringing to the entire season 2 so far.
Mm-hmm. You still liking it?
I'm loving it. I was so anxious after the last episode.
Why? Because they tried to cram in the amount of storylines that would go into the entire film or the entire, not even a film, like an entire series. The fact that I had to keep writing storyline 1, storyline 2, storyline 3.
Right. This one felt, even though a lot happened in episode 2, it felt more cohesive, more manageable. I was less frantic.
Good.
Personally.
No Zanny for you.
No Zanny for Maggie.
All right. Maggie, I think we're going to have you go ahead and kick it off with the good old-fashioned brief.
Here is my brief for season 2, episode 2.
Okay.
New York City is still reeling from the banking crisis of 2008, and it's leaving a Pearson Hardman client facing bankruptcy, which isn't a bad thing, and Harvey helping facilitate the bankruptcy with his Spectre swagger could help Jessica maintain control of the firm. But Harvey can't let go of his ego, and it gets in the way. He saves the day for the client while simultaneously throwing Jessica in front of a metaphorical Mack truck of disgruntled senior partners. Even Louis Litt, the loyalist of the loyals, finds himself fed up with Miss Pearson and ready to suck up to Hardman. Meanwhile, Mike's ego gets in the way of a relationship with Rachel when he takes Harvey's advice to not tell her the whole truth and nothing but the truth about his past.
A metaphorical Mack truck.
Don't you feel like she just got hit with a Mack truck this episode?
That season finale, you talked about a metaphorical can of whoop ass.
I did.
And now you have a metaphorical Mack truck.
Yeah.
Metaphorical Maggie.
Metaphorical Maggie.
Alliteration.
That's who I am.
Yeah, it makes you instantly likable.
It does. Amanda Austin.
Yeah. Okay. In Lewis's eyes, Daniel proves he's not a hard man to work for after all, and Lewis sees the light at the end of this partner's tunnel. Boy, is Mike a hard man for Rachel when he finally decides to get the message and send one of his own. But Mr. Spectre waves his magic spector at Mike, and in Michael-like behavior, he immediately backs out of the pursuit to save his real job as a fake lawyer. Man, is it hard for Paul Porter to take the L, even after a couple of notes from his new golf buddy, Fred. Paul tries to convince his client to file the big B when Harvey lets his ego lead the way and save the deal and hundreds of jobs. For the first time, Jessica feels betrayed by her protege, and she might be alone in this fight for the rest of days.
The way you worked Hardman into that
many
times, I am...
When you've got a last name like Hardman, you know?
And you are, in fact, a hard man to work for or work with.
Well, there's a lot of fun to be had.
Do you think that his last name, you know how Mason, my ancestors were Masons.
Oh,
Do you think Hardman's ancestors were just hard men to work alongside?
Probably.
It's just like, oh, man, that's That's Joseph Hardman.
Our ancestors were Austins.
Yeah, which is
Politicians.
yeah, they're just Stephen F.
Yeah, Stephen F. So, okay, you want to kick us off, and I'll let you pick which one you want to tackle first. There are 3 pretty clear storylines here. Of course, we know they all weave together.
Okay, I'm going to go with the first storyline from the opening scene.
Yeah.
Which is Mike and Rachel.
Yeah.
So we open, and Mike is just replaying Rachel's voicemail over and over again like it's a song on his iPod. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, wow, look, like, this woman really loves me.
Yes.
And then he walks into the office, and the song is playing in the background, and it says something like, oh, there she goes. And then Rachel's like flipping her hair. She's got these killer calves. She walks away, and the song goes, she's gone. It's like so funny to me that the song was narrating Rachel's Herbal Essence commercial, like this Pantene Pro V commercial.
The way that they have that line up, though, makes it feel like the way we try to line up songs with reels.
Yes.
You know, they're like, oh, wait a minute. I need to make sure that I'm accentuating this moment.
Absolutely.
And I've got to do the little scroll on the song to figure out where is the crescendo and when's it going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And Mike, at this point, she still thinks Mike does not want her. Mm-hmm. And then Mike is like, no, I do. And Lewis comes around the corner, and he's like, I got the message. Basically, Mike is pleading with Rachel to be with him. Lewis comes around the corner, is like, you need to come. You need to
my
come
office
with me.
now, before I sit down.
Yeah, before I sit down. And then Mike just smooches Rachel.
Big time.
Smooches her big time.
He smooches her, I mean, but this is about the equivalent of what you were calling a peck in episode 1. And I don't think this is a peck.
This felt more smooch.
Did it?
This felt more smooch because
the longing.
No, I think it was that Lewis had already seen them and then left. Like there was no interrupting this kiss.
Funny that Lewis has been around there. Like
Lewis
he caught them in the first one, and then he not caught them in the second one.
Literally, if they get married, Lewis should be
the officiant.
Because he has been all up in their business.
Yeah. She does this thing where she walks away and like touches her hair like, oh my gosh, that was it was a little much for me. And I am just thinking about what were the director's notes?
Yeah, because then also it cuts to Mike, and he just like wipes his lip like, oh yeah, you
it's
dirty
like
dog.
The director's notes are, pretend you guys just did a sex scene, but standing up in your business clothes and there's no tongue.
Yes, exactly. Like that's exactly it. It's so weird.
It's a very like,
yeah,
it was an office kiss. NBD, okay?
Yeah,
no big deal for the listeners who don't know.
And later, Mike goes up to her, and she says, hi. And he goes, I rocked your world, and all you say is hi, which is also a little much. This was, in fact, a smooch.
It didn't take a lot for Mike to get real cocky. You know what I'm saying?
So cocky about this. And she's just like, I rocked your world. But she's also hesitant because she thinks he's still with Jenny. And he's like, nope, we're done.
I'm moving on quickly to the next one.
Oh my gosh. And I guess she assumes that he's broken up with Jenny because he says, I mean, he leads her to think that. He's like, turns out I was into another girl.
But really, she kind of dumped me.
Yeah, it turns out you were.
What are Jenny and Rachel going to text? No.
Not right now.
No. They start to set some ground rules about dating. Okay. They're going to try and be quiet at the workplace. And then he says, yeah, if we go back to each other's places, it doesn't mean that we're having sex there. And she's like, wait a minute, you just think that we're automatically going to have sex if we go back to one of our places?
Yeah.
And he feels real dumb, and she's like, no, don't worry about it. It's fine.
And then Lewis walks in again.
He's like, I smell pheromones.
Lewis literally is just on the case.
He is on the case.
He's just being sassy. He's being rude. Rachel's here summarizing every single case the law firm has.
We find out, which relates to the next story, that they're all the associates are going out tonight, and they're going to be in Daniel Hardman's box. What's the place? Oh, Madison Square. Yeah, the Garden. Madison Square Garden. Do they call it the Garden in New York?
I think that's what Mike calls it.
Okay, the Garden.
Yeah.
And they're going to see Bruce Springsteen, the boss, right? So the big boss did not invite Lewis to go see the boss with the non-bosses.
Right. The big boss was like, all of the associates get to go, but the guy who manages the associates does not get to go.
Yeah.
Which makes Lewis feel, I think, a little jealous, but he's like I want to see an octogenarian.
Big time jelly. There's a lot of big jelly, jelliness going on there. Okay, so they go to it on their date.
Yes.
It's at, I caught a glimpse of the name of the restaurant. And then
What a find.
Bouge Tomate.
More like Bouge Tomato.
Right. Bouge Tomato. Okay. Maggie, I did spend 10 to 15 minutes trying to figure out the scandal of why this place closed. So this is a real restaurant.
Oh.
Okay. We're both foodies.
Yeah, we're both foodies.
And so I was just like, what's this restaurant?
Is it in Toronto or is it in New York?
So that's where I start. This is in New York.
Okay.
So I guess they had to do some kind of stuff in New York when they were filming. But I originally Googled Toronto in around 2012 when they would have been filming. And it wasn't there, so then I went to New York. It used to be on the Upper East Side. It was very high-end. You and I would have loved the menu. By the way, the old menu, before it closed, was so reasonably priced. I'm like, how can we get scallops
it was a decade
and a
old.
salmon crudo for that kind of price?
Yeah.
Really amazing. It was a lot of vegetables and a lot of seafood and just, oh my, Maggie, I couldn't find a dessert menu. I'll look. I'll post the menu in the show notes.
Our group text.
Yeah. Anyways, so what happened at Bouge Tomate is they closed kind of out of nowhere around, it looks like September, October. So they were at Upper East Side and then they relocated down to Chelsea around 2016. And then in September, October of 2018, all of a sudden they're just closed. It's kind of one of those things out of nowhere. Immediately afterwards, some of the employees, 4 of them, decided to sue the owners. They weren't paying out tips or they weren't paying enough. Or they were categorizing their jobs as all tippable jobs. So in the service industry, bartenders make more than servers, but busboys and runners make a certain amount, but you get tips. Dishwashers and cooks, they make an actual a wage because they're rarely tipped. That would be a weird thing. Not weird, but it's uncommon for you to tip out to them. They were classifying everybody as having a tippable,
so they could pay them $2
so they could pay them $2 or $5 or whatever it is. Anyways, were all owed back pay. So kind of a scandal there. Then the chef's like, whatever, I can't believe they would do this right when I'm closing. Or the owner, not the chef. He says, I'm going to reopen it in a different spot and everything. So it has not reopened, but there were a lot of really good reviews about it, and so I'm kind of bummed.
I love this deep dive that you've gone on.
I did this before you got here because I was like, I'm curious about Bouge Tomate, if it's real. And then I saw a picture of Mike putting her in the cab. They're like, this is the one, when I Google image searched it. So I have like really... I mean, I spent like 15 minutes.
This is how dedicated you are to being a foodie and to this show.
I am as equally dedicated to being a foodie as I am to Suits. And that should tell people who know.
It would be so fun to do a tour of places that they've gone and actually eat the food. Where they had the associates dinner, go to that exact restaurant, order the sliders. Ugh, that would be so fun.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I want to support Bouge Tomate though. If they're
they're closed. They never reopened.
Yeah.
So because the facade is down in Chelsea, and when this is filmed, it was the one on the Upper East Side. I had to really I had a bulletin board and some red yarn, and I was trying to put this one together.
Like, this is important. It is.
R.I.P. Bouge Tomate.
Yeah. Good riddance.
Bougie Tomato.
Pay your employees.
Yeah.
While they're there after the restaurant at Bouge Tomate, Rachel says, "I love that in a man."
Honesty. She's talking about honesty. But she doesn't like bougie tomatoes in a man.
She loves that in a man, which is basically saying she loves Mike. And then they're going to do it right. They're not going back to each other's places. They're going to take this slow.
They're going to smooch.
And that's it. That's just a smooch and bye.
Cute smooch.
The next day, then immediately...
Mike's like, gotta go to Harvey's. And gotta
go
check on those lamps.
Yes, and I you see like the hallway. So now I see where the lamps were, why I saw so many lamps. Because you walk into Harvey's apartment... There's a very long hallway. It's like an industrial apartment. Yeah. 2 wall lamps, like sconces that you see from the door. Yeah. I've understood. And now I've seen the other side of Harvey's apartment.
You've seen the other side of his lamps.
Yes. Harvey's in a tuxedo. He's got a very beautiful woman hiding in the room behind.
He's like, go back. I gotta
talk to this baby, Mike. And Mike comes in and he's like, I'm going to tell Rachel. Lies are haunting me. Mm-hmm.
And Harvey's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Like shut up.
He's like, Rachel is not on our side, which is such a bold statement because there's no proof that she's not on their side. But he does say, when you do something stupid, you don't know what she's going to do. Right. And then he says, do you want to take down the firm to get laid?
Right.
Dang.
This is another gun moment for Harvey.
It is a gun moment. Well, for Mike.
Yeah, for Mike too. Right, but Harvey, it's a
1, 2,
moment
3, draw.
where Mike is like, I'm going to do this. Harvey sees that could be bad for him
Yeah, he's
too,
gotta
and
point
so
the
he's
gun
like,
somewhere else.
whippity whippity woo. Actually, you're an idiot if you do that, and
Yep.
here's why. And he makes a compelling case.
Yep.
They are back at the firm. Rachel is there. She's talking to Donna. She's like, we can talk about anything. And Donna's like, interesting. Because Donna also knows
What
that,
happens when you talk about anything.
Yep. And she also knows that Mike is not a lawyer.
Yeah. And Mike wants to be honest, and he wants to tell her, and Donna like grabs him by the arm, pulls him into the office.
And she gives him a real like Harvey advice again.
Well, because she reminds him, this is what Harvey did for you. He said, if he goes, I go. And Mike's like, oh, he did that for me? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, he put it all on the line.
Yep.
He did. He made this huge sacrifice for you. And then we also find out, Mike says, how are we even supposed to work together after that? And Donna says, it's possible.
And just kind of looks off to the side, and he goes, how do we get from here to there? And then Donna says, the feelings just go away eventually.
And I think she's talking about Harvey.
I think she is too.
I think
Some
that's
bases,
what that
maybe.
is. Yeah, maybe even some can opener stuff.
Yeah, well, we don't know what they can open with it.
I don't either. But this sounds like more than can of whoop ass.
Yeah, it does, for sure.
That's a kind of a huge thing because they've always had this little like flirtation. Clearly they know each other really well,
Right.
but obviously now there's some history
Yeah, big
there
time.
as well.
So Mike's in the copy room or the file room working real late, and Harvey is there to check on him because he's worried about him.
Worried about that he's told Rachel.
Yes, he's coming from a place of fake compassion, I think.
Right. Yeah. He's more covering his own ass.
And then Mike gets back at him and said, like, oh, I should really take some dating advice from somebody. I bet you told yourself that at 25 and 30 and 35 and 40, right?
And you'll tell yourself again at 50.
Because he said, you have plenty of time to find the right woman.
Yeah, that's what Harvey tells Mike.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, Mr. doesn't have a woman.
And also, who's to say that she's not the right woman?
Absolutely. Harvey's made a huge assumption.
He's making that decision for Mike.
He did make that. But Mike listened. And I think, honestly, Mike could have made the opposite decision. He ended up listening to Harvey. And I was like, but like, why? And I think because being a lawyer and being able to show how important and smart he is more important to Mike than being with Rachel.
Okay.
He had this parallel thing with Jenny the whole time he was also with Rachel. I don't think Rachel is necessarily the one to Mike versus like Mike is the one for himself.
And he really has something to prove to Harvey.
He has something to prove to Harvey there.
He does. You're right.
There's a really sad walk to the elevator.
There is a sad walk. Rachel standing over there looking
Touching
so
her
like
hair
forlorn,
again.
just like, oh, I'm like, right? Is that
Yeah.
the word forlornly?
Yeah, she's forlorn.
Forlorn.
What is that song? The horn, it sounds so forlorn.
Did you just make that song up?
That's in a movie.
No,
That's
it
in a
can't be.
movie.
It has to be an educational song you learn in the third grade.
It's in a movie. It's at Christmas and everyone's standing around and then someone sings. I think it's Meg Ryan's in it. Meg Ryan, and she goes, the horn, it sounds so forlorn.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Maybe it's When Harry Met Sally.
I don't think that's in When Harry Met Sally.
Okay. It's in something with Meg Ryan.
I've seen
Christmas.
that movie so many times. I feel like I would know.
This is like a key thing that the first time I heard it, I was like, what? I'm going to say that so many times. And I have held my promise to myself to sing that song.
If it is in When Harry Met Sally and I'm wrong, I'll buy you dinner from an equivalent
From a Bouge Tomate.
Bouge Tomate.
Oh my gosh.
Because I feel like I know that movie well enough that I
Okay.
would be shocked.
Wager accepted.
Okay.
And if I am wrong, I will say you were right.
I'm just trying to find a reason for us to go to the Dallas version of Bouge Tomate.
And if I am wrong, I will let you take me to Bouge Tomate.
Okay.
It's a sad dinner.
Okay. Next storyline. Talking about old Hardman.
He is in fact back, and he is in fact fucking things up like I thought he might.
Yeah, Mike beat Jessica in this law firm trivia, right? We call it the law off.
Yeah, the law
We
off.
think.
I think he did because he's just so smug.
He's so
He gets in
smug.
the elevator with her, and he's just like as smug as a bed bug on a condo rug.
Put that on a t-shirt. Smud as a bedbug on a condo rug. I love it. He is no to knock off of an attorney right now.
No. Knock it off.
Okay. He's blabbering a lot. He even says, I could even be your son, but wait a minute, we don't look that much like each other, which gets him right back into the same position he was in when they were at dinner, you know?
Yeah.
They walk in, and Hardman is decided to demo the office. Did not get this signed off by Jessica.
It's such a power move. He's building out his office.
Yes.
Is he building it where Jessica's office was?
Yes.
He's taken over her office.
Well, I think it's her old office.
Oh, her old office.
Yeah, because she's in her, he didn't like move her stuff out, but he did not get permission to do this.
And it's construction crew. Lewis walks in and he goes, I would have painted it taupe.
Yeah, Hardman would have wanted taupe.
So, and also Lewis needs to know the chain of command. He is very stressed out.
He is somebody who has to know, who do I report to? Who is my boss? What is my upline? What is my downline? What is the org structure here?
Yes.
He cannot function in a place of ambiguity. I think that Lewis Litt's character would lose his shit if he tried to improvise. Because I think he needs a lot of structure, and it would be him not knowing who to report to, who to do this, who to do that. I think that he would have a hard time.
He would have a hard time. But he is such a theater person.
Better suited for sketch.
Oh, he would do wonderfully in sketch.
Give him some lines.
Yes.
He's got it down.
Sure.
He's got it down. I would say he's not an entrepreneur. I put this in my notes.
Yeah.
I don't think Lewis has the ability to be an entrepreneur because of this chain of command and him not being able to think without, you know?
Yeah. He's such a wise, smart guy, but it is one of those things. I remember when we'd be project planning for something, not with you, but at my old job, and it was something that's never been done before. And some people get stuck. They're like, well, what do we do? And it's like, just make something up and that you want to happen and then figure out how to make that happen.
That's true.
Or like, you know, like, but that's more like, he would be like, what do I do? I need to know who to report to.
That's fair. Yeah, you can be entrepreneurial within a business for sure.
Yes.
But I think he just needs to know, give me the direction. Like, I need to be told.
And Jessica just kind of says, you know, you report to me, I'm your boss. And then when he leaves, Harvey's like, oh, what's that about? And she goes, you don't let the children know that mommy and daddy are fighting. Which is so condescending for Lewis.
Yeah.
But he doesn't hear it. But.
Yeah. It means that Harvey is the grown son.
Yes. Harvey's kind of like her work husband.
He is totally her work husband. So she wants to make all these departments happy because she's worried that all the partners in these departments have to be happy because they know that Hardman is going to call a vote. Like, it's not said yet, but we know he's going to call a vote. Harvey thinks everybody loves him, but Donna's like, nope, not really.
Yeah. In fact, Donna lists off all of the people that don't like him. Real estate doesn't.
Yeah.
Bankruptcy maybe likes him. And so Donna's like, great, you're going to be on bankruptcy.
Go and court Paul Porter.
Because she needs the votes.
Yes. In the meantime, Mike comes in. He is eating some fruit from like an omelet bar and fruit. Pineapple cut into a little flower. Looks delicious. Harvey even agrees this is really good, but don't let this change anything. This is what he does. I made a note of food breeds loyalty.
Which is something you've said.
I've said it many times.
Yes.
You got to feed people.
People love a snack.
It is unbelievable. People who make like a lot of money, when they find out there's free food and it's like a donut, they're like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
People love food.
Yeah, it just
they
brings
don't have to pay
some
for
joy.
Well, also like breaking bread together.
Yes,
You know, particularly like in a work environment, it's a different tone than just like sitting in a meeting. Also, like if you're going to be there all day in a meeting, you got to have snacks. I don't know. When people show up and you're holding meetings during times when you could be eating,
yeah,
you got to feed them. And it makes them more, I'm not saying people are going to stay because of
Pizza Friday.
There are some companies, so I feel like it's Microsoft who used to, when they were all in office, they fed them every day. They had a glorified cafeteria that was amazing with chefs and everything, and you go down there and you just eat every day. Like, that way you don't have to leave.
Yeah, which is kind of like probably capitalism.
Yeah, for sure. It's like trapping them there so they can't leave. But also, how nice is it that you don't have to worry about food?
I know people, there's like, I see a lot of things about like, oh, instead of just doing Pizza Friday, why don't you give everyone money? And it's like, okay, but actually, honestly, sometimes I would prefer pizza over, 50 cents?
Yeah, I mean, depends on where you're getting it from.
Yeah, but sometimes that's just a fun culture moment.
It is. It does. Food breeds loyalty. I don't have a problem with Hardman bringing in the food. I have a problem if people think that makes him a better leader because he brought food, because I don't think it necessarily makes you a better leader. I do think not having the awareness to understand people's biological needs could show poor leadership.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Something else that happens, we know Lewis is trying to figure out who he works for. We know Jessica isn't really giving him the time of day, is kind of treating him like a child. I think Lewis can sniff this out. So it looks like there's this scene where it looks like Lewis is on a date with this man, Arnie Berenstein, but actually this is a recruiter.
Yeah, they really buried this one to make it look like it's some kind of weird date.
Yeah, and I immediately was like, I don't think this is a date.
No. He's exploring his options.
Yes,
he's thinking about maybe leaving Pearson Hardman.
And it's largely because of the Pearson of it. The Pearson of it all.
Yeah, the
Jessica
nothing
Pearson,
and nobody.
He's still mad about that. And honestly, he should be exploring his options. He should be looking. He doesn't need to be fiercely loyal to this firm. And he gets back and he's like, I got to talk to Jessica. He's trying to talk to her. Paul Porter, who we'll get into in a minute, interrupts. And Jessica's basically like, okay, bye, Lewis. I'm going to go talk to this other attorney.
And man, she shouldn't have done that.
She should not have done it.
I mean, the way it was staged and the way it was shot and the dialogue and everything, it just shows she's clearly making a choice.
Clearly making a
Paul
choice.
Porter over Lewis Litt.
Turns
Two
her...
people who should be both instantly likable aren't.
Yes.
Because of their initials. They are the exception to the rule.
She turns her back on Lewis, and Lewis is just sitting in his desk thinking about the recruiter. He's like moving the card around in his hand, and then he gets a package. And you know what is in that package?
Oh, it's a big package of bribery is what it is.
It is an SJX 5000 dictaphone from Daniel Hardman.
Which is something he's been wanting.
He has been wanting this so much, and how did Hardman know?
I mean, because he's good.
Because he's good, and he's treating Lewis how Lewis wants to be treated.
Yeah. So this brings me to a little deposition here for you. What is something that somebody could send you in the mail and then you didn't really like them and then they sent it to you and you'd be like, how did you know? You were kind of like, all right, I'm on their side now.
Yeah, I am easily won over with bribes. So I think, you know what? If I didn't think someone liked me and they sent me just about anything, I think, because I like most things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty agreeable about presents. I think I would immediately like them a little more. Because it does show that, I thought this person didn't like me, but then they thought enough to send me something.
That's fair.
Oh,
That's fair. Yeah.
It makes you at least put a pause on maybe I was being judgmental.
It just makes them more memorable, too.
Yeah, you top of mind.
Yeah, top of mind.
What's something someone would send you?
Well, you know how I feel about gifts.
You don't like them.
I like them if they are intentional or make sense. Just a gift for a gift's sake. Here's this, book that has nothing to do with you because it was on sale, or here's a candle that smells like diarrhea or whatever.
Yeah, here's a pen that's branded, but it's not. But it's also
not relevant. I am fine with gifts. People can give me gifts if it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want junk. I'm talking like a dictaphone, something that is
this would be
thought,
nice.
Thought above.
I think because I'm such a purse person, I love a good bag. And I do like shoes, but really love a good bag. I got bags in my shopping bags online right now that are it's gonna be a couple of years. Yeah. So if somebody surprised me with one of those bags,
they'd be in the bag. They'd have it in the bag.
It depends on who it is. I would be
That's true.
Thank you. And I might that might be it.
But it'd be in there. It'd be in their head.
It depends. If I just really wanted nothing to do with that person and I thought it was tainted, I'd probably send it back.
Would you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the bad juju in the house.
Yeah, it's bad juju. You don't want it.
No, you don't want that. Anyways, this dictaphone sure did breed some loyalty with Lewis.
Because it was thoughtful. That's what he wanted. That's something Lewis wanted, and he's been wanting to get it and hard to get. That kind of thing would be, to me, I'd be like, oh, dang.
Yes.
That's great.
So Lewis is in Hardman's new office, and he's making sure it looks super nice. Jessica comes in, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I know you needed to talk to me. And he goes, nope, not anymore.
I don't need you.
Because he's a Hardman guy now.
He is a Hardman guy. And then Jessica's like, uh-oh, I can sense it. You could tell. She doesn't say a lot, but she's reading it off of Lewis.
Yeah.
So she's in her office a little bit later, and towards the end of the episode. And Harvey wheels down her tea service that she has delivered at night.
Yep.
And says, I just want you to know that you're not alone. And it's funny because she goes, put it over there. And I thought she was going to say, do you want to join me for a spot of tea?
No, she does not.
Put it over there, and then...
Then he walks alone down the hallway. In fact, both of them are very much alone at the end of this episode.
They are. They really are. Storyline number 3.
Paul Porter is the head of bankruptcy, basically, at the firm.
Yes.
And Jessica has assigned Paul Porter to Harvey again so that she can get bankruptcy attorneys to vote for the partner to vote for her.
Harvey assigns him to Mike.
And Harvey's like, you do this, Mike.
Yeah.
Lewis comes up to Donna and he's like, I need to know what's going on. I need information because I need to have information to form a strategy.
Yes.
And he has tickets to a play with Meryl Streep and Glenn Close.
Diggity dang dong. That's
Yes.
way better than going into Bouge Tomate.
Yes, way better. And we find out here kind of that Donna's also a theater geek. Like
Yes.
they're kind of the same person.
Yes.
I wonder if they've seen Cats.
Well, we don't know. Like, we have to leave it up to the imagination that Lewis, when he wanted to in season 1, go to the revival of Cats.
That he went?
He probably went.
Yeah. Do you think Donna went?
Separately.
And
then they might have run into each other.
Yeah.
I don't think they like the same cats, though.
I bet they don't.
Yeah, I think they have very different cat preferences.
This is funny, though, because later Donna goes in to try and get Lewis to do something to help Mike and Harvey. And she's trying to bribe him again.
Yeah.
And they're just like back and forth with these bribes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're kind of the same
Person.
They're kind of the same person, but Donna's more attractive, a little smoother, and also has more relationship capital.
She has the Riz.
She has the Riz, and she's trying to get the scoop too. She's always in the associate's kitchen trying to get the scoop.
Yep.
She's got this network of other assistants
And
everywhere.
all over the city, yeah.
Lewis wants the network Donna has because they both want the same thing. They are very similar people. I just thought that was so interesting that they're both bribing each other.
It is fun. So Paul Porter has been knocked down 3 floors, and that's not metaphorical. He literally is now on the 46th floor, right?
All because of Pearson.
Yeah, and so he's representing this guy Tom Clapper, who is at the very end of a project or close to it, and he's run out of money, and
$200 million in the hole.
Yeah, and he's got to figure out how to get out of it, how to either raise more capital, get the loan terms renegotiated, or he's going to have to file the big B. That's bankruptcy.
That is the big B bankruptcy.
So we cut to Paul Porter and Harvey sitting on a golf course having some drinks. And Paul says, is this what it's like to be closed by Harvey Specter? And then they talk back and forth a little bit. And then he gets up and he says, the guy you're about to meet on the course is Fred Couples. That's getting closed by Harvey Specter.
And that's a golfer.
Yes, Fred Couples is a golfer.
Before that, Paul Porter's describing this client he has, Tom Clapper, and he goes to Harvey. He says, Tom Clapper is like you. He thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground.
Dang.
I mean,
Paul Porter tells it like it is, and he does not like Harvey.
he does not
That's
like
not like he likes
Harvey.
Tom Clapper either.
No, he's like, Tom Clapper, you are making a horrible decision. You are letting the pride of this business get in the way of your actual business and your actual family. Just declare bankruptcy. It's not that big of a deal. Leave this project. Harvey comes in and is like, if you don't want to declare bankruptcy, don't declare bankruptcy.
Right.
We'll figure out how to solve this for the client, which is not what Jessica asked him to do.
Well, he's not good at
She
listening.
asked him to work for Paul Porter, not for Tom Clapper.
We're going to get back to that because I do have a little tiny deposition for you. Okay. Obviously, it's probably a big deal for Paul Porter to be meeting Fred Couples. Because he wouldn't just take him to the golf course, and if Paul Porter hates golf, right?
Right.
He wouldn't.
Right,
I mean,
right,
that wouldn't be an
take him.
intentional gift.
Absolutely.
Right? If you were in a situation, all of a sudden I was like, hey, you're about to meet this person. Who is that person where you'd be like, diggity dang?
Okay. I had kind of a moment like this once in my life.
Really?
Yes. I was in Los Angeles visiting family, and I had been joking. I was in 8th grade. I was joking the whole time how I was going to pretend to meet Shia LaBeouf from Even Stevens. I was going to sign a napkin. I, in fact, signed one from the Cheesecake Factory because my best friend and I were, obsessed with Shia LaBeouf from Even Stevens. Mostly obsessed with Even Stevens as a show. High-quality Disney programming. First night there, we've gone to Cheesecake Factory. I've signed this fake napkin. We go putt-putt golfing, and I see walking this kid, and he trips and falls, and it's Beans from Even Stevens, a character beloved in this show. I cannot muster up the courage to go ask Beans, this small child, I'm in 8th grade, for his autograph. My dad goes over to the fence and has to say, hey, are you Beans? The kid says yes, comes over, I'm like literally panicking. I'm high-V. I'm about to cry. I cannot get words out. I am shaking. He signs my putt-putt golf card. He's, 4'11", tiny
Yes.
child. And I that's how I would react. I have experience with this, seeing someone that I'm so excited to see, and I know that it would not go well, and it would be such a great moment, but also I would embarrass myself.
Okay.
Maybe vomit.
Who is the person now?
Who is the person now?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It could be anyone from like a Real Housewives franchise, really.
Sure. Okay.
Like Dorinda Medley, I think I would maybe freak out a little bit.
Okay.
She's not even like current cast, but
Yeah.
it would be pretty iconic. Lisa Vanderpump, like anyone from like those reality people, because there's like, I just watch all those shows so much.
Yeah.
Who's yours?
It's always been Tina Fey.
Oh yeah.
And I've taken a picture with her once, like when she comes out the back of SNL, because I've been to SNL twice. Like,
are
to
you
see
standing next to her?
Yeah, I can't find it. It's on a throwaway cameras before phones had cameras.
No,
I know, I can't find it, but I know we'll meet again. So it would be her for sure. I'd really like to meet Taylor Swift.
Okay. Yeah.
I really would.
I need to set my bar higher for celebrities. I should be going for A-listers, not
Oh yeah,
not reality TV stars.
Yeah, I would love to meet Taylor Swift.
That'd be interesting.
Well, because she's such an entertainer, but like I kind of want to talk business with her. I mean, her strategy on some things has been like pretty remarkable.
Oh yeah. Oh, beyond.
She's
stayed in the public eye for so long.
She's done a great job. And then I just really respect Tina Fey and everything she's done, not just comedically, but from a business standpoint as well.
Those are two really good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Okay.
It's got to be one of those things where I'd be like, oh yeah, I would never meet this person.
Do you still have the autograph from Beans?
I think I do.
Okay.
It was such a moment. I cannot, that's
I'm seeing it on your face.
It was top moment of my life.
Oh, wow. And you've got a husband and 3
And
kids.
and it was 8th grade.
Okay.
Mostly because I was joking about it. I was like, this is going to be so funny to go back and have like pretend that I've met someone. And then I actually did, like, immediately.
Okay. It's pretty cool.
It was cool.
All right, back to Tom Clapper.
Tom Clapper, $200 million in the red. Not very good. He does not want to declare bankruptcy. And he says, everyone throws a Hail Mary when they've got nothing to lose. You've got something to lose. That's the advice from Harvey before Harvey decides, hell, let's throw a Hail Mary,
Yeah, he also says you got to protect your assets and build for the future. And he wants them just to move on. And that's hard because he's also worried about the people.
Yes.
And
right.
like, what is he going to do? So he's not just a business person. He is a person who cares about the people. He's like, there's hundreds of contractors who, like, he's thinking ahead of how this is going to impact them.
Yeah.
I resonate with that.
Mike has an idea. He wants to go meet with the bank. That's what Donna was trying to get a meeting with Mike at the bank. The bank lady says it's not 2007 when people were richer than God. It's hard to get a loan in 2012, which was kind of funny because then I feel like so many regulations from this horrible, horrible time, like 2008, were just erased. And now I'm like, well, now it's kind of like, this is a little dated.
It is. This is another time that it's dated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Paul Porter's pissed because he really just wants him to declare bankruptcy.
Like, get him to sign the paperwork. And
Right.
Harvey finds him in his office and he's drinking. And Porter's giving him the biz. And he says to him, hey, you're too cautious. That's a tip from Fred Couples. So Fred Couples reports back to Harvey and says your buddy's too cautious.
Which is like, what a jerk thing to say.
Yeah.
But Porter's
It's also a weird feedback loop. In the business world, that would be weird that we were hearing it. It's like,
Yeah.
just go directly to the person.
Yes, exactly. Porter's like, if I wanted to keep his business, to sink his business, I could have done that on my own. He wanted Harvey to go and convince him to file for bankruptcy.
Yep.
But Harvey thinks that's a loss. He thinks bankruptcy is a loss. Bankruptcy is not a loss.
No, and Harvey says, the bankruptcy laws were there to protect you. Like, that's what they're for. Which is true if you're only using them because you have to. It's not because you just want to keep opening up businesses and closing them and filing bankruptcy.
Right. But Harvey thinks the real thing is
Like
to
some
please
presidents.
the client. Is to please the client.
Yeah.
And the client does not want to declare bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Mike comes up with another plan because they can't get a loan. He's like, okay, well, actually, look at this. 6 of the buildings surrounding this huge project that is $200 million in the hole are backed by the same bank that's backing their projects. And that bank wants to move their headquarters. Basically, the bank is going to balloon this loan, make Tom Clapper have to declare bankruptcy so they can move into this almost complete building
Yep.
for pennies.
Yes.
And then have all this development around them grow and be like the centerpiece of it all.
And the fact that Mike figured this out, also, it's great that he did. I kind of was hoping that we could see a repeat of what happened in season 1, episode 8, where him and Lewis and Harvey were all working together to figure out these financial crimes, so to say, or just all of, because that is where Lewis shines.
Right.
And Mike figured this out without Lewis, which I thought was interesting to note.
Yes. Well, Lewis isn't even really on this case. Really.
No, he's not at all. I'm just saying Mike did it without Lewis.
Yeah. No, well,
He
Mike
figured out the money stuff.
Mike knows everything.
Yeah, he did win a law off.
He wins a law off. Mike is every single person in the law firm, but smarter than all of them.
Right.
But doesn't know he's smarter than all of them yet. But yeah, Lewis isn't even in on this, but it would have been nice. Except for Lewis is kind of on the dark side right now because he's on the Hardman side.
Yeah, he is. He got that big old dictaphone. Isn't it
I
ironic?
cannot believe Hardman gave him a dictaphone.
Hardman gave him a dictaphone.
Anyways, Jessica's like, you are not going to tell Tom Clapper that the bank is willing to do this. Mike and Harvey convinced the bank to be nice to Tom Clapper so he can finish the project.
Yeah.
Jessica's like, you are absolutely not going to do that. You are going to get this man to do a bankruptcy deal because I need Paul Porter. She says explicitly, do not share this deal.
And
Harvey,
what does he do?
he sees Paul Porter in his little bow tie and he's like,
Screw it.
screw it, I'm not listening to Jessica. I'm gonna tell this guy, like,
Also to help save his business and a lot of jobs.
yes, and not Jessica Pearson,
Right.
who has stuck her neck out
I
for
know.
this man
It's tough.
and had one thing. She was like, this is the big picture, is that Hardman is coming for us. We need the votes.
Tank
This
the deal.
isn't about you, Harvey.
What would you do?
Oh, I'm a rule. I would probably listen to Jessica. I probably wouldn't have even. I would have probably just said you should do the bankruptcy. You should do the bankruptcy is what I would have said because my dad's a bankruptcy attorney.
But if you knew that there was a way around it to save this guy's job and his dream and
I
all these
wouldn't
people.
have gotten to that though because I would have been like, actually, just do this and all of these people's job. Everyone's going to be okay. Harvey went above and beyond to not have him declare bankruptcy.
Yeah.
He took the guy saying, I don't want to declare bankruptcy, and he was like, great, then I don't have to do what Paul Porter wants me to do, as opposed to like, great, then I need to do what I'm good at, why Jessica has me working here.
So you would sleep better at night doing that.
Yeah, I think I would.
I think I'd sleep better at night.
But you wouldn't know, like, I would never even.
You wouldn't have got that far.
It takes them so many hours of research, so many trips to the bank, so many favors from Lewis to try and get this. And it's like, no, Harvey, you're there to close the deal that first time you walk in there. And Harvey could have done it.
So I would have 100% done what Harvey did.
You would have.
I absolutely would have.
Yeah.
I would have kept digging and been like, there's got to be a way to help this guy.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it from what Jessica has told him what to do.
I know. I get it.
Because I think then Jessica's up on
The roof.
the roof.
Up on the roof. That's not the right key.
I don't know that song.
It's from like our parents growing up.
Okay. I like it, though. That was beautiful.
Up on the roof. Okay. Wait. Okay.
The horn.
Is forlorn.
She's up on the roof. Harvey comes to talk, and he's like, sorry, not sorry. And she goes, I've been irritated. I've been exasperated, but now I've been betrayed.
Yeah.
We are never going to have that voting partner back for me now. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, but now real estate's in your pocket. She goes, real estate always was. Real estate doesn't like you, Harvey.
Yeah.
Real estate likes me. They don't like you. Harvey cannot see outside of his own self.
Yeah.
And I think that Harvey is such a huge liability. She says to him, you couldn't put me ahead of you. You're starting to believe your own bullshit. This is, in my opinion, an abusive relationship. Harvey needs to do better by Jessica.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, then that kind of rolls us right into your predictions.
It does, because that's the last bit of it.
It is the last bit of it. 3 solid storylines this time.
Oh my gosh. I just got really heated about it.
You did.
I was, because it just was so upsetting to me that he let Jessica down like that. And I honestly feel like all these women get let down by these men.
Yes.
So this is what I predicted. Kind of. It's like kind of just an observation. So Harvey's ego is in him winning. He could not let Tom Clapper not get what he wants because Harvey thinks when the client wins, he's a big hero.
Okay.
Mike's ego's in being the smartest lawyer without being a lawyer. They've both hurt women too because they don't really care about anyone's collateral damage, and the women in this show are their number one champions. Donna, Rachel, Jessica, all been like scorned by Mike and Harvey.
Yeah.
Are they ever gonna step out from these men's shadows?
Wow.
Like, golly, they're just like so whatever. Like Harvey just walk all over me. Mike just steamroll. Mike tries to blame Rachel for the breakup, and she goes, "What the? Like what? Like where is this coming from?" Because Mike's totally gaslighting her.
Did we talk about the breakup?
We just said that he decides to break up, but he goes up to her and he's like, "Yeah, you once dated an associate, and then he got fired. So like, no, we're off. We're not going to do anything."
Okay.
Which is not the reason. I'm just sick of these men.
You're sick of them right now?
Golly, they got to do better. I'm not sick of them. I'm working watching the show. I'm very invested. But I'm like...
Do better.
They have to do better.
Yeah, I hear that.
I think Lewis is obviously going to get farther with Hardman.
Okay.
I think he's clearly a Hardman loyalist. And I think Hardman knows that he's going to stroke this ego.
Yeah.
And I think he knows Lewis can be a really valuable asset. Especially because he knows Lewis, Harvey, Pearson are not on the same
So he's gonna lean in real hard, man.
Yeah. Jessica, Harvey, and Mike are really lone wolves here, so they've made so many enemies in this episode alone, season 2. So when Hardman does come back in full force, they're either gonna need to scramble to try and get more people on their side, or they're gonna have and try and defeat him, or they're just gonna need to run away. What is going to happen?
I don't know. I can't confirm.
I know. But I just mean gosh, they have nobody in this firm and they're supposed to be leading this firm and now they're going to have no respect.
Yeah, it's like a lot of businesses. Just kind of chaos sometimes.
It's so chaos.
Yeah.
I feel like this firm has gone into a chaos tunnel. Also, now that Mike and Rachel are done, I wonder if he's going to go back to Jenny, who does know his secret.
Because then it's safe. Secret's safe with me.
And try and smooth things over with her because he certainly did not go back to Grammy for any advice, even though she does give good advice.
And old crackers.
Eisenhower cookies.
Old cookies.
Biscuits.
Some old biscuits from Granny. Those are great predictions.
Thank you.
If you haven't noticed, we are wearing matching shirts if you're watching any kind of clips of this on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. And we have a merch store.
A merch store.
We would love for you to merch it up with us. We have some Only Suits fans merch. We also have the Spectre School of Law. This is a sweatshirt. You can also find it in other versions as well as we head into the spring. So you can sport your alma mater year round.
I know. I really love this. I feel very attorney.
Do people, when you wear it out, do a second glance? I thought about wearing it when I was traveling this weekend to see what would happen.
You should for sure wear it on the plane.
On the plane to Boston.
Yes. You should wear it around. You should go to Harvard, walk around in this sweatshirt.
So make sure you check out our merch store. You can find that where, Maggie?
On our Instagram, link in bio. Link in bio there on Insta. Only Suits fans.
I guess we'll sign off then.
I think we got a new review. It says, Only Suits fans. Amanda and Maggie are so great. Their chemistry works. Love to listen to them. They work well together. Oh.
That's really sweet. Who is that from?
Your mother.
Oh, it's from my mother. We have blown through most of our family members, still waiting on that hot review from Kyle, my brother, your husband. And so if any other family members would like to leave a review, that'd be great. We will shout you out. Also, it really helps us if you leave a review.
Yeah, just do the 5 stars and then also write something nice.
Yeah, and if you can't write something nice,
eat it.
Bye.
Bye.
The horn,
it sounds so forlorn. The clarinet.
I love that they were improvising.